Hi, I'm Wang, and I love trivia and I love movies. I love trivia so much that my friends call me a bag of useless information, and they're not wrong. I love movies so much, people hate watching them with me because I'll constantly be going, oh my god, that's the guy from that movie that we saw last week, now he's here in this thing. It gets pretty irritating, so I generally have to watch movies alone now. But since I can't go to the movies, since I can't participate in pub quizzes or trivia quizzes, I decided to make my own trivia quiz about movies, specifically Singapore in the movies. First question. In the big budget action movie 2000 AD, one of the highlights is Aaron Kwok falling off of a rooftop and miraculously surviving. Now, what's the building that he fell off of? Was it the Goodwood Hotel? Was it the Singtel building? Or was it the Grand Copthorne Waterfront Hotel? You got 5 seconds to make your decision. Now 5 seconds may seem very short, but hey, this is a video. You could pause it anytime and then think about it and maybe Google it, but don't Google it because that will be completely contrary to the spirit of this quiz. So, are you ready? Time's up. What's the answer? The building that he fell from is in fact the Grand Copthorne Waterfront Hotel. Now you might have thought, hey, most likely it's the Goodwood Hotel. But sorry, no, it's not. You might have thought, hey, I remember watching this movie faintly. The Singtel building appears prominently in it at one point. But you would be wrong to think that Aaron Kwok fell from that building. In fact, it does appear and it is prominent because the sniper that is shooting at Aaron Kwok earlier on in the scene is in fact shooting at him from the Singtel building. I guess there's a line of sight from Singtel building to the Grand Copthorne Waterfront Hotel. But the building that he does fall from is the Grand Copthorne Waterfront Hotel. And the reason he doesn't die after he falls off the roof is because he falls onto a window cleaning gondola that happens to be halfway down or somewhere down there. And so he survives. James Lai is really happy about it and they go on to catch the bad guys. In 2000 AD, Aaron Kwok does a lot of things all over Singapore, but the thing I guess I can't forgive him for is stealing a police car. And he steals a police car from this policeman, and I guess that's just real tough. I can forgive you for jumping off rooftops, shooting up and crashing through Boat Quay, but Aaron Kwok, how could you steal a police car from this guy? Next question. In the 1980s, Bruce Boxleitner was a big heartthrob. You may remember him from the TV series Scarecrow and Mrs. King. He came to Singapore and was in a movie that was shot entirely in Singapore. What was the name of that movie? Was it Bring Him Back Alive, 7 Keys to Singapore? Was it Passion Flower? Or was it The Gambler? You got 5 seconds. And the answer is Passion Flower. Now, you might have thought, 7 Keys to Singapore? That sounds like that should be the film. Well, the first thing I gotta tell you is that this was a TV series. And 7 Keys to Singapore is the name of the first episode in that TV series. And even though it is about Singapore, it's about like the Japanese plans for invading Singapore pre-World War II, and it features the Raffles Hotel and the Sultan of Johor and all kinds of stuff. I think Pulau Ubin also makes an appearance in there. None of it was shot in Singapore. The Raffles Hotel looks nothing like our actual Raffles Hotel. Now, you might have thought, The Gambler, that was a movie with Bruce Boxleitner, and it was, but it was set in the Wild West. Kenny Rogers is also in it, so that's not got anything to do with Singapore, I'm afraid. Passion Flower was the name of the movie that came to Singapore in the mid-80s and was shot in its entirety. It features, amongst other things, Bruce Boxleitner in a kampong in Singapore. I don't know what Angmos are doing in a kampong in Singapore, but I guess it furthers the movie somehow. Alright, next question. We're talking about Wong Kar-wai's movie In the Mood for Love. Yes, a movie that if you are a cinephile or you are a movie addict, you should have watched. Now, in that movie, Tony Leung's character, Mo Wan, moves to Singapore. Why does he do so? What is he doing in Singapore? Is it executing his father's will? Is he working at the Sing Chu Chip Po? Or is he following a girl that he met in Macau? You got 5 seconds. And the answer is working at the Sinchu Chitpo. Now, you might be thinking, wasn't he executing his father's will? What is he doing rummaging under and above furniture in the first scenes in Singapore? Well, that's not what he's doing. He's definitely not executing his father's will. And then you might think, hey, he's following a girl he met in Macau. That is totally in his character. But I would have to say, maybe that's more like his character in the sequel, 2046. That Tony Leung, that Mo Wan would definitely do that. But not the Mo Wan that we know in The Mood for Love. He is working at the Sinchu Chitpo. If you remember, he's a newspaper man, and his friend asks him to go to Singapore because they need staff.
喂，你好，星洲日報。哦，唔該，等等啊。冇人哥啊，電話。唔該。喂。
Now, I hear a lot of you must be yelling right now, no, the real reason he's moving to Singapore is because he's trying to forget or escape his current state in Hong Kong. He's trying to forget his wife, he's trying to forget Maggie Cheung's character, Su Li Zhen. Well, yeah, that's the real reason why he went to Singapore, but that's not what he's ostensibly doing in Singapore. Now, based on a true story, it's something you see in the press and in the front of many movies. But not something that you see in front of many Singaporean movies. However, that is a Singaporean movie that is based, however loosely, on a true story, the story of the Toa Payoh ritual murders. Now, what's the name of this film? Is it The Maid? Is it Mee Pok Man? Or is it Medium Rare? 5 seconds. And the answer is The Medium or Medium Rare. Now, The Maid was a horror story and you might have thought that it had some ritualized things going on, but that's not it. And Mee Pok Man, to my knowledge, is not based on a true story. But the Toa Payoh ritual murders are the basis for Medium Rare, sometimes known as The Medium. And that was a case that really grabbed Singaporeans' attention back in the 80s. And it was really all over the papers. Everybody was talking about it. No matter how loosely, it still is based, sorta, on the story of Adrian Lim and the Toa Payoh ritual murders. It stars a very much younger Margaret Chan and a very much younger Beatrice Chia, as well as many other Singaporean actors of the day who are still active and acting today. Now, on to our next question, the last question of today. In the 1965 movie Cinta Kasih Sayang, the protagonist is a bit of a homebody, does not get to go out much. And so on a rare chance to go out and eat cockles, where is she taken to? Those cockles, that very Singaporean dish. Is it the Satay Club? Is it Newton Circus? Or is it Bedok? 5 seconds. And the answer is Bedok. Now, you might have thought, hey, Satay Club features pretty prominently in that film. It must be Satay Club. Well, you're right. Satay Club is very important to that film. It's a very important location. But when she goes there, she eats satay. And you might have thought Newton Circus, because that's where we all go. Tons of people go there and eat cockles now. But that's not where they went in the movie. They went to Bedok. And not just some restaurant or some coffee shop in Bedok. No, they went to the beach and they ate at a restaurant by the beach on the boardwalk. And it looks very idyllic and rustic, and maybe if nowadays we might say, wow, that's like a resort kind of setting. That really happened, that really existed in 1965 Singapore. Cinta Kasih Sayang is a very interesting film from 1965, the birth of Singapore, modern Singapore as we know it. And you can try and watch it at the AFA Cinema, the Asian Film Archive Cinema, which is where I watched it. And they have it in their archive, and hopefully they'll show it again sometime. And if you can't wait, perhaps you'd like to look for this low resolution and poorly audio synced copy that is floating around the internet on YouTube. Now, with that, we come to the end. It's time to total up your scores. And if you've scored something like 3 or 4 points, maybe you should be pretty pleased with yourself and post an emoji of a smiley face down below. And if you scored 1 or 2 points, actually you should be pretty happy, but maybe you'd like to differentiate yourselves from those 3 and 4 pointers by posting a picture of a smiley face. No, what do you call those smileys or emojis where the eyes are like straight lines? There should be a name for that, right? Some kind of shorthand for that. And if you scored 0, maybe you'd like to post a picture of a cactus because maybe you think, I'm just a little prick for writing all these questions. And if you scored a perfect 5 out of 5, maybe you'd like to just keep it to yourself because nobody likes a bragger. Alright then, thanks for watching and playing. I'm Wang, and join me next time for more trivia and nonsense right here.